Australia's first Indian magazine to have a national reach, Indus Age is the largest circulated South Asian magazine in Australia with 5 simultaneous editions, 55,000 copies printed monthly, 220,000 readers, largest network of clients, undisputed leader in community news. Indus Age is circulated in Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Brisbane and Perth to over 525 outlets. Grab your copy now to get the latest on the community, news from India, Bollywood, music and much more. For more info, log on to www.indusage.com.au.
Hello everyone, I am Karishma Bhojwani and welcome to Indus Age, an all-Australia-wide Indian newspaper and magazine. We're here at the Jaipur Literature Festival here in Adelaide. There are a lot of actors that we love in Bollywood, but there are a few that make history. A diva, a beauty queen, a pathbreaker of Indian cinema, an inspiration to so many other heroines. She created her own identity by playing distinguished roles. Yes, I am talking about the absolutely gorgeous and talented Zeenat Aman. Thank you so much for being with us here today, Zeenat.
Thank you, Karishma. Thank you for having me.
Lovely. So I'm going to jump straight into the questions.
Okay.
Can you tell us a little bit before you started acting?
I don't know how far back you want to go, but I was a straight-A student in my school. I won a scholarship to Southern California. I came back to India, dabbled briefly in a bit of journalism, modeling, joined a beauty pageant, represented India at the Miss Asia Pacific, won that title, came back, and I was approached by Mr. O.P. Ralhan to act in his film, which had an ensemble cast, which also had Kabir Bedi, in a film called Halchal. Subsequently, I acted in a couple of films, which released after Hare Rama Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Then I met Devanand, who was looking for somebody to play the part of a hippie girl in Hare Rama Hare Krishna. And he cast me, and that's how it all started.
So Hare Rama Hare Krishna was not your first film that everyone believes?
No, it was the first film that did well and was widely seen, and it was the film that propelled me to stardom in Hindi cinema.
In the cinema.
Yeah.
Is it true that you were going to leave after the first film? You were going to leave India after the first film?
Yes. My mother was married to a German citizen, proper German man, and they were scheduled to leave to go back to Europe. And we had packed all our stuff and shipped most of it out.
Wow.
And, and then I got this part, and Devanand, he requested us to come to Kathmandu, Nepal, for the shooting. And we went there. And after the shoot, my mother and he had a conversation. And he told my mother, he said, I think you all should stay till the film is released. So we stayed, and the film did well. And then he wrote another script for me called Hirapanna. And I signed a couple of other films, Yazun Ki Barat with Churalia.
Yes.
And that's how my career started. Yeah.
Do you still remember the first time that you were on set and what it felt like?
You know, what is very memorable with Hare Rama Hare Krishna, there was a bunch of us newcomers, and we were all in Nepal at the time. And he would not shoot with us. He was filming himself and Mumtaz, the leading lady. So we were watching them work for weeks. So we had our lines, and by that time we were just sort of raring to go. Yeah.
Ready to go.
Yeah, that's the way it unfolded, really.
Is it true that a lot of actresses had denied the role that you took on?
Yes, because everybody wanted to play the leading lady opposite Devanand. Nobody wanted to play the sister. And that too, this drug addicted, crazy sister, who comes to, runs away from home and, comes to Nepal, hangs out with hippies. It's quite,
quite a unique.
And then eventually dies in the end. So nobody wanted to do that part.
So what made you say, okay, yes, I'm going to?
Well, I was just excited to work with the legendary Devanand. And I had come from Southern California, and it was the height of hippiedom there, and with LSD and Timothy Leary and the Flower Power and the Flower Children. So I had a sense of familiarity about that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you
I was
you
aware
didn't
of
judge
it.
it.
Yeah.
You enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Lovely. After what was your, you could say, favorite work of your own? What was your favorite movie?
No, it's difficult
It's
to say,
different to
Karishma. I
say.
tell you why it's difficult, because there were many milestones. I was in the business for many, many years. Like I say, I was the main female protagonist in over 80 movies.
Wow.
So there were many milestone projects. Of course, starting with Hare Rama Hare Krishna and working with great masters like Nasir Hussain and Manmohan Desai with Dharamveer and Manoj Kumar with Roti Kapra Makan and Firoz Khan with Kurbani and of course with Mr. Bachchan in Dawn and of course the great Raj Kapoor
Yes.
in Satyam Shivam Sundaram. So there were many, many milestones and I was in the business for a long, long time. I continued working from the 70s to the 80s till I was actually married and my son was born. And then my son, when my son, after he was born, I completed all my films and then took a hiatus.
Yes,
Yeah.
took a hiatus. So what was, you would say, the most fun part of your job and what was the worst part of your job?
Well, I loved my job.
Yeah.
I always got up in the morning with great joy to go onto the sets, and I worked very honestly, very intensely, very passionately. So that gave me a lot of pleasure. The worst part of my job was that I never got enough sleep. Yeah.
Because you were so busy working.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Do you think that men and women were treated differently back then in the industry?
In what way do you mean were they treated differently?
In terms of getting a bit more priority or things like
Well,
that?
I think Hindi cinema has always been male-oriented, male-dominated. Of course, now there are a lot of prolific women filmmakers, but it's basically a male-dominated industry, and it was especially so when I was a working actor. And scripts and stories were written by men with a male perspective, and the parts for women were mostly ornamental.
Yeah.
But there were a few films that weren't that way, whether it was Insaf Ka Tarazu, which is about an older sister, a woman who gets raped, and then nothing's done about it. Then her younger sister gets raped, and then she takes justice into her own hands. And there were a couple of other films, one of which I had a double role in.
Yeah. There was a point in your career that you decided you were going to do a different type of film.
I had a long journey.
Yeah.
I worked for over 15 years in the business. Like I say, I grew from girlhood to womanhood in the business.
Yeah.
So it was a long journey.
Long journey. Okay. When did you decide that you wanted to take a hiatus on films?
I was ready for my kids to happen when they did. Yeah.
Okay. That was like you want to take care of the kids.
Yeah.
And
I just felt that I'd worked long and hard for many years.
So it was time to be a mother.
Yeah.
When you look back now, you've had this amazing career. You've had some biggest hits and blockbuster films. How do you feel looking back at your career?
No, I'm not normally somebody who lives in the past. I really live in the here and now. But I find that when I travel, there's such a diaspora of Indians who really viewed my films with so much joy.
Yes. Definitely.
And wherever I go, I am really touched by the way they reach out to me.
Yes.
So it makes me feel that my work was very valued.
It definitely is.
So I didn't think about it, but now that it's been brought to my attention, I am very grateful for it.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Because people of all ages just absolutely adore your work till today. It's a complete legend. Who would you say your favorite actress is today in Bollywood?
It's not so much the actress as the part that they are portraying in a particular project. I haven't been, I have to be honest, I haven't been watching too many films.
Films, yeah.
But I saw, what was this film? The Sanjay Leela Bansali's film
With
not
Padmavat?
no, before Padmavat. What did he make?
Ram Leela.
No, not Ram Leela.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was where Bajira Mastani.
Bajira Mastani, yes. That one, yes, that one. Yes.
Bajira Mastani.
With Deepika and Priyanka.
I really liked Priyanka's work in that.
Yes.
I thought she performed. It was a difficult part to play because she was not playing the title role,
Yeah.
and it had many layers of this man who loved her but was in love with somebody
Someone
else.
else.
And she handled that very beautifully. I thought that was good.
She admires you a lot as well. She
Well, I
says.
think she's. I'm happy for her
That's
with
beautiful.
whatever is happening in her
With
life.
her.
I wish her the best.
Lovely. If there was a movie that was made on you in your life, what genre would it be and who would play you?
It's difficult to say what. It would be a biopic.
Biopic.
Yeah, and I would like Priyanka.
Priyanka, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Exciting. Are there any projects that you're working on at the moment?
Karishma, I've done a web series. Season 1 was released,
Yeah.
and season 2 is about to be released. And I've received a few film offers and a few theatrical offers. So I'm looking to see, where things go.
Go. Lovely. You still love acting and still in it.
But it's at a point it was my life.
Yes.
Right now it's just something I love to do, and it's a part of my life.
Yeah, it's part of
Yes.
your life. So what is Zeenat Aman's everyday life like nowadays?
Busy with home and hearth. Boys are still at home, still unmarried. I have a menagerie at home with the 3 cats and 2 dogs, and I look after whatever little business activity there is. Of mine. Yeah.
Lovely. Okay, awesome. I'm going to ask you like a rapid fire round now.
Oh, okay.
I'm really mimicking Coffee with Karan here. Okay, so what is the one thing that is on your bucket list still?
Oh, it would be part of travel, seeing the northern lights. So going to Africa to watch the animals. Yeah, so just mostly places and travel.
Travel.
Really.
Lovely. Who do you admire the most?
Do I admire the most? Actually, the one person who led by example was my mother. She was strong, she was fierce, she was bright, she was intelligent. I learned a lot from her. So in my life, if I admire anybody the most, it would be her.
Your mother. Beautiful. Your favorite hobby?
I like to read.
Like to read.
I enjoy
Okay.
reading.
Like reading. Beautiful. What is the first thing that you do when you wake up in the morning?
Drink 2 large glasses of water.
Water.
Warm water.
Okay. And if you could go somewhere being invisible, where would you go?
I have no idea.
If you could be invisible for a day, where do you think you would go?
I don't want to be invisible. No,
You're
good.
happy being there.
I'm happy.
Okay. Your best childhood memory?
All the time I spent with my mother when I was in school and she would come and visit. Yeah.
Okay. What is success to you?
I don't know how you can measure success, because I think the definition keeps changing as you accomplish what you set out to achieve, and then there are new goals and new destinations. So it's ever elusive.
Wow. First time I've heard that. Beautiful. And in your words, what is life?
It's a journey.
It's a journey.
It's a journey, and the whole idea is to just enjoy the journey and to deal with everything that comes your way, whether it's good or bad, to accept it, acknowledge it, deal with it, and be grateful for it.
Beautiful. And if you had to give life advice, taking from your years of experience,
Have faith in yourself, believe in yourself, and perseverance always pays.
Perseverance always pays.
Yeah.
Lovely. Beautiful. Thank you so much,
Thank
Zeenat,
you,
for joining us
Karishma.
here
Thank
today.
you. Thank you
Such
for
a
having me.
pleasure. You look absolutely beautiful, as always.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us at In This Age. We've had such a beautiful conversation here today with our dear Zeenat Aman. Until next time.
Australia's first Indian magazine to have a national reach, Indus Age is the largest circulated South Asian magazine in Australia with 5 simultaneous editions, 55,000 copies printed monthly, 220,000 readers, largest network of clients, undisputed leader in community news. Indus Age is circulated in Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Brisbane and Perth to over 525 outlets. Grab your copy now to get the latest on the community, news from India, Bollywood, music and much more. For more info, log on to www.indusage.com.au.